my name is Klaus Röhrig, and I work for Climate Alliance, which is one of the partners of the Climate Pact Secretariat. And I work on managing the ambassadors within the European Climate Pact project.
I am Channa. I work as Belgium country coordinator, also for the Climate Pact. That means I manage the Belgium community of ambassadors that are linked to the Climate Pact.
The European Climate Pact is an initiative by the European Commission that was created under the European Green Deal. And it's steered by DG Klima. And it's basically about creating a community of engaged citizens that we call ambassadors that drive climate action on the ground across the EU. The motto of the pact is "My world, my action, our planet." And we in the Pact Secretariat are the ones trying to support this group of individuals. We support them in connecting with each other, supporting them in engaging in actions on the ground, including and reaching out to citizens, and to raise awareness about the climate emergency.
The idea of the ambassadors is that there is really something that each individual in their own community can do on their level, according to their abilities, according to their focus and their thematics. There is some form of climate action that everybody can take.
The climate actions that are done by ambassadors on the ground are really diverse. So they're as diverse as the profiles of ambassadors. So in theory, every citizen that wants to do something in their community can apply to become an ambassador. And we have really like a wide range. So for example, we have the Austrian CEO of a clean tech company, but also environmental communications consultant, youth activists, or youth delegate to the UN. It's a very broad spectrum, and we give them also a lot of freedom in deciding what kind of action they want to do on the ground. So
the actions really go from planting trees and making concrete local change in some communities, but they also range to giving workshops and speaking at important events, or making connections with local politicians. So that's a very broad range of climate action. For citizens and basically everybody who is looking for an easy way to get started with citizen engagement, we have on the Climate Pact website six ready-made quick start tools, different formulas with a scenario all written out, fully prepared for people to start making climate action and doing citizen engagement in their own community. So that's there's no reason to not to do it now, I think.
Exactly. I think the overall idea of the Climate Pact is coming a bit from the realization that the climate emergency cannot be just tackled through law and legislation. So that was one part of the European Green Deal, right? That the Commission launched this entire package of legislation, but they realized that the transition to achieve climate neutrality by 2050 really needs everybody. So there was, I think, an idea of really activating also citizenship and involving citizens. And the Climate Pact actually shows that there are a lot, hundreds and thousands of interested citizens that really want to contribute to the big challenge of addressing the climate crisis in Europe.
Yeah, it really goes in both ways, I think. The policy that has been created to address climate change cannot be fully successful unless citizens are engaged and are involved and want to contribute in making this a success. And at the same time, we need to hear those voices of the citizens and go out on the street sometimes and talk to them on events and on congresses and on a very, very wide platform of activities. We need to hear their voices in order to feed that also back into the policy that is still being created at this moment. So it goes in both ways, and this is really where the benefit of citizen engagement, I think, lays. one example where you could really see the positive impact of citizen engagement was when we went with an event to one of the non-big cities in Belgium. We really went out there to a tiny, I think it was a city, but it felt more like a village. And people there had this village festivity. It was a car-free day. And you could really notice when we were there with our Climate Pact setup that they were not really used to making a connection with those big projects from European commissions and things like that. And the conversations that we had there on the street were really with such a diverse group of people. They just all happened to be there. They came outside and they connected and they shared real experiences and real feedback. And I think that's really the positive kind of result that you want, to have this connection with all kinds of people, not the ones that are used to coming to Brussels and stepping into the Commission's buildings. You want to have all the other ones. And going out there is the way to do it.
No, I think for me it was quite nice. It was like an event related to the European Parliament elections. There was also, I think, a collaboration with farmers to also show that there are farmer associations that support more climate action.
Yeah, I think the most inspiring and interesting events are the ones where groups that usually don't meet or that usually do not work on climate do meet or do work on climate. And the example that Klaus gave about the collaboration with making the link with climate movement and the farmers movement is something that was really interesting to see. Another example is when we had an event bringing together grandparents and grandkids in sort of an estafette relay race where they passed on their climate voice between generations. And I think all those events or activities where you can make bridges between groups of people are, to me, always the most inspiring.